What's up, guys? I'm Chesapeake. This is Chesapeake Camping Outdoors, and it's a very blustery, cold and windy day after Thanksgiving here in the Chesapeake Bay. I just got home from work, and I looked out in the front yard here, and the entire tegumen was in a pile over here. And this is what happens to your brand new roll-up titanium stovepipe in the wind, even though it's guyed out. I should have paid a little bit more attention to the weather. I should have taken it down yesterday, but I ate a little too much turkey and I came home and relaxed instead of looking at the weather forecast for today, not realizing we were going to have some really high wind. And not that the tegumen isn't meant for high wind, it's absolutely guyed out perfectly, which I thought it might have been a failure in the tent when I first came out, but upon further inspection, it wasn't a failure in the tent, it was a failure in the actual ridgeline. I don't know if you can see it here, but my line lock snapped, completely snapped. So once the line lock snapped, there was no ridge line on this side of the tent, and the whole tent went that way, pulling down everything with it as it went. My stove was over there. The chair that's here was just over the hill over there. This lamp was over there. There's the stove. The stove pipe was here, and all the guy lines were in a big pile here. The spark arrestor fared well. No damage to the arrestor, no damage to the small stainless steel clips that hold it in. I'll give you a close-up of that. And the guy line, here's how it's attached. Just these little tiny clips that spring open like that, and it pulls tension to keep your stovepipe straight up and down in the wind. But when there's no ridge line, it kind of makes it hard for this to do its job. And this is what happens. Your brand new titanium roll-up stovepipe is mangled, absolutely ruined and unserviceable, not savable, ultralight junk is what it is now, all because of a failure in a $1 piece of plastic. So this is my lesson to you. While split ridge lines using line locks are great, make sure you know that under certain loads these will fail. I knew it was going to fail in high wind. I just didn't know how high a wind it would take. I thought I would be okay, but it's not designed for the kind of wind that we got here today. I don't even know how high the gusts were, but it even frayed the line here in a couple spots. You can see. So there was some extreme forces on this piece of plastic, and it's just not designed for that. There are some actual hammock manufacturers designing tarps with split ridge lines that use line locks. So it's not just something that I've come up with on my own. I actually got the idea from a well-known hammock manufacturer. They use line locks to attach it to the tarp, and then a titanium hook that goes around the tree. I've just got a micro beaner and then a reflective line like I have, but the failure point in all of that is a $1 piece of plastic that is not designed for the kind of tension that's put on it. Well, I mean, it is designed for that kind of tension, but once you add the dynamic loading from the wind, it's just bound to fail. So if you guys are going to use a ridgeline like this, make sure you keep in mind the kind of loads that you're going to put on it and the weather that you're going to use it in. If it's going to be high wind, use a continuous ridgeline, or hell, just do a Beckett hitch or a trucker hitch like this, like I've done now to put it back up. I just have a trucker hitch up here, and I will mess with the included ridgeline now. I might even get a pole and use the grommet that's in here, like an actual tent pole, and you can use it, you know, freestanding if you wanted to. So keep this one short and sweet, guys. Just wanted to kind of show you what kind of failure I had today with a split ridgeline. It does happen. You just got to really pay attention to the weather and your equipment and make sure it's all up to par before you leave for the day or go out on a hike, or, you know, whatever. If you're going to leave it out, make sure you know what's going on, have somebody check on it, or just take it down, because the failure of a $1 piece of plastic could have cost me more than $90. It could have cost me, you know, well over $1,000 with the quilts I have inside and the price of the tent and the stove. You know, good thing the stove wasn't on, or I wasn't in it had that happened. Because had that happened with me in the tent and the stove on, that could have been very bad. You know, that could have killed me, or very well hurt me really bad, caught me on fire, or any number of things. So just make sure you guys are safe when you hang. Always look for widowmakers, and make sure your lines and all your equipment is up to, you know, in working order every time you use it. Always inspect your guy lines. Always inspect the ground where you put your stakes in. Make sure it's not too soft. If it is soft, add an extra stake like I've done. There's no harm in taking a couple tiny, small, or titanium stakes with you. It's not going to cost that much weight or money, and it could actually save you from your entire tarp or tent coming down on top of you in some high wind. So again, you know, make sure you guys, if you're using a split ridgeline, make sure it's hung properly and make sure it's in working order. So I'll cut this one off now, guys. I just wanted to kind of show you the aftermath of the failure of my split ridgeline. Good thing nothing else was damaged. I was able to put it back together in about a half an hour, but I do have to buy a new stovepipe now, titanium stovepipe. So good thing I can still use the included stovepipe for now, and the spark arrestor is still fine, no problems there. But so yeah, guys, just make sure your stuff's working. Make sure you check the weather and be safe. I'm Chesapeake. This is Chesapeake Camping Outdoors, and I'll see you guys next time.